Okay.
So, what was your life like before Legacy Farmer?
Um, we just felt like we were in a really stagnant spot. Like we weren't gaining any ground. We weren't usually losing ground, but we were kind of stuck in one spot, just maintaining. And it just wasn't that satisfying for either one of us. My husband was in a job that started out okay, but through things that happened, he just wasn't satisfied being there. Um, I was home by myself a lot with him working long hours, seasonal wise, and everything. We have 3 kids, all under the age, all 4 and under. And so that was pretty hard to be by myself that much with kids that young. And I just felt like I wasn't unhappy, but I had this thought pretty often of, is this all there is? Is this all it's going to be, for the next 70 years? Is it just going to be one shit show after another?
Mm-hmm.
And, just feeling like we weren't gaining, but we thankfully weren't losing anything, but we just weren't making any progression. And it was really frustrating for both of us.
Mm-hmm. How about your and Peyton's relationship?
We've always had a good relationship. We communicate pretty well. But there again, we both just felt like, ho hum, this just kind of is what it is. Kind of, and not to say the fire was gone, but it wasn't burning as bright either, for sure. I know there would be times that he would want to do something or, want just some one-on-one attention from me. And it was like, I got nothing left after being home all day with these kids all by myself. Stuff's been hitting the fan all day long. I just, I felt like there wasn't enough of me to go around. And then that in turn frustrated him. I mean, he understood, but I don't think he understands to the level that he does now. Because shortly after, well, I guess we'll talk about that later, but shortly afterwards, he was just like, I don't know how you did this. Once he was home more.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, our relationship was good, but it's night and day different now.
So I guess that'll lead into our next question. So what changed for you once you entered the world of Legacy Farmer across all areas? So body being balanced business, what changed for you?
Everything, literally everything. It just opened up, and it took a little bit for me, especially. There were some parts of it that I was like, well, I'm not the one that's going to be running the business. So I didn't think that part of it really applied to me. And boy, was I wrong. And then it just opened up this whole different mindset of how we attack problems, how we view things, what we give our attention to. I've noticed a huge difference just in myself of how much less stressed I am because I just refuse to give attention to things that don't serve me anymore. Whether that's, negativity coming from other people or, thinking I have to be involved in all these other things that don't really do anything for me except cause a lot of pressure and take time away from my kids and everything like that. And then recently, the biggest difference I've noticed in myself is my mindset about taking care of myself. Because before I didn't feel like I really had a right to demand time for myself because I've got 3 little kids that depend on me. And, at different ages and stages, they're really needy. And, felt like all my time and attention and energy had to be devoted to them. And I've come to realize that you can't pour from an empty cup. And I had a next to empty cup. And that was why I just wasn't satisfied. I was irritable all the time. I wasn't the mom that I wanted to be. I wasn't the wife that I wanted to be. I didn't feel like I was living up to the expectation of what I felt like my husband and my kids deserved, because I wasn't taking care of myself. And now that I've made, just subtle little changes of getting up earlier, being intentional about having some me time. I mean, there's days I still get pissed at my kids. Today was one of them. But I'm just so much better able to handle when things don't go right, or I just feel better. And I feel better about me. And then as far as balance goes with Peyton and I, it's just opened up a whole new level of our relationship. And we had a good relationship before, but it's just where we have common goals together now, and we know that there's a process to go through to get there, and we're going to get there together. It's not your journey, my journey, it's ours. That's made a big difference. And then two, just doing weekly gratitude stacks for each other has been a big difference, especially for me, because I feel like he sees me now. Whereas before, I kind of felt like, you have no idea what goes on here during the day. You have no idea the shit that I put up with all day long. And then, for you to come home and add to it some of the time, and then wonder why I'm not that nice to be around at times. Yep. And then, it just felt like it just gave me a lot of satisfaction in knowing that he sees me and sees what I do and knows that it's important in caring for our home and our kids.
How do you feel like, because Jordan's like this anyway, I feel like men are naturally, they hide their feelings, they hide any type of emotion. They don't do very well at expressing emotion, even though they do feel a certain way, they don't know how to express it. How do you feel your husband has been in learning to express that? How has it helped him?
Oh, it's helped him immensely, especially with our kids. That's where I've noticed the biggest difference of it. With me, he didn't have, he's always been able to show me love and affection a lot easier. But our kids, it's just, he's so much more connected to our kids. I feel like he has, he invests time into making sure that they know, even at their young age, that their dad loves them and cares about them. He writes them little sticky notes at least once a week and sticks them to their doors. And then I read them to them. And even though, like, our girls are only 2 and 1, they don't have a clue really what those notes say, but they know that they're important and that there's something from their dad, because anytime I read it to them, each one of them, they get this huge beaming smile on their face, and they go to their dad, and if he's still in the house, and they go up and they hug his legs and they tell him thank you, because they know that it's something special from their dad. And it's kind of like watching him become a father all over again is almost what I can equate it to. Just how he has taken the relationship with each one of our kids to a higher level and been intentional about it.
That's awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Anything else to add to that?
I will say that it's greatly improved Peyton's approach to his relationship with my parents, my dad specifically. Beforehand, he kind of was pretty hands off of we've tried to help, we've tried to reach out, and he doesn't want to do the work, so I'm not helping him. And now he's being very strategic about, there's things that I can do, and there's things that he will receive better from me as a man than he will you, his daughter. So let me do it. I will take on that responsibility and I will do it. And that's been such a blessing to me. And it's not like they didn't get along before, but it was more like they kind of just tolerated each other. But now there's becoming a lot, the mutual respect between the two of them is back, or building back to more what it was when Peyton and I got married and before my dad's depression hit hard.
Mm-hmm. Good. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. The next question is, what are your favorite things about Legacy Farmer? As far as like the tools go, trainings, what are all your favorite things?
I love the stack. That's been really awesome for both Peyton and I. But me specifically, I've found a lot of solutions to problems that I was having, just getting those stories out of my head and facing the facts of a situation. That's been very beneficial to me. And then I'm a people person. And so the more that I can connect with people that are like me, that understand me, that, can relate to my situation, I really, I benefit from the community aspect of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be my two favorite things. I like all of it, but those are probably my two favorite.
Talk about the Farm Wives group a little bit. What do you like about it? How has it helped you?
It's awesome. It's just, there again, that sense of community, women that are like me, that aren't afraid to talk about when you've had a shitty day and it just, nothing's going right, or this is the problem that I have and I don't know how to fix it. And being able to get all that out in the air so that it can breathe, and then also get advice or input on next steps to take, is a godsend. And then just the collaboration of, I've never met any of these women face to face, but I feel like they're kind of the best friends that I've always been looking for, or felt like I didn't quite find with other people. Because there's plenty of people here in the farming community that we live in here in Leota that I've known forever. They're great women. I get along with them just fine, but there's just something missing, and I can't even really put it into words of what it is. Mm-hmm. But it's just not there. And whatever it is, I've found it here.
Mm-hmm. And you know what, I was thinking about this yesterday too, and I just think it's the realness. Like,
I do too. I think it's just the authenticity of it.
None of us have anything to hide.
Right.
Whereas if you're, friends with somebody in the community, it's always like you're protecting your image, you're protecting all of that. You feel like you have to protect it. But inside of Farm Wives group, there's none of that. Like, I do not feel like I have to hide behind anything.
No.
So.
I feel the same way. Yeah.
Alrighty. Last question. What is one thing you would say to a woman looking into Legacy Farmer for herself, her husband, or her family?
It is the best decision that you will ever make. If you decide to join and put in the work to get the results that you want. It really is.
I would agree. I'd say the same exact thing. Yeah.
Yep.